last interview with award-winning author Becca Lee Gardner, we talked about Kung Fu Panda. And while discussing the character, it occurred to me that Po is a chosen one. It's obvious, but it's not something I've really given that much attention to in the past. The funny thing is, I chose Kung Fu Panda because Po is one of my son's favorite characters right now. And when I was a kid, Sailor Moon was mine. Yet, if you look online, there is so much criticism of this trope. People say The Chosen One is one of the worst tropes in history, and yet Harry Potter continues to draw sales and make new merchandise every day. So why do we claim to hate The Chosen One? And what's behind this trope? To tackle this issue, I've brought back independent author Ellie Maureen, and we'll be looking at the classic animated Hobbit, Terminator 2, and Star Wars Episode 3 to dive deeper into this trope and figure out the mechanics. I've had you on before because you have very beautiful, very vivid imagery, but as I was reading book 2, I kind of realized your story has a little bit of an element of The Chosen One.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is a trope that's gotten kind of a bad rap. The idea of the chosen one that doesn't want to be chosen, who would want to be the boring girl who just goes to school and blah, blah, blah. Well, I see the criticism. I kind of feel like that's oversimplifying the argument.
Yeah, I think people get stuck on the fact that, especially with the powers, like having superhero powers, they're like, why would you not want to have that? And they just put themselves in the situation.
Especially if you think about, yes, the superpowers sound cool and da-da, but they come with these grand, amazing adventures that are frankly terrifying. Like, as cool as it sounds to face a dragon, you'd have some PTSD after that. These are fantastical adventures, but let's face it, those characters had to grow and go through very hard emotional things and have life or death situations just to do what they're doing. And many of them, like our first example of The Hobbit, didn't really get a lot of warning.
Bilbo Baggins?
Yes?
I am looking to hire a burglar.
Burglar? I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place.
You mean you do not wish to share a grand adventure?
Dear me, no. We hobbits are plain, quiet folk. Adventures make one late for dinner.
Enough. I am Gandalf, and Gandalf means me.
Gandalf? Not the wandering wizard.
The same.
To dungeons deep and caverns roll. We must away ere break of day to seek the pale enchanted gold.
Foreign and Company at your service. Dwalin, Balin, Keely, Feely, Dory, Nori, and Ori, Owen, sir, and Glowin, sir, call him Biffa and him Boffa.
And, Bamboo at your service.
This guy is dragged out of his house, basically, for no damn reason other than a wizard did it.
That animated movie actually makes it pretty ominous. Think about how terrifying it would have been for Bilbo to just have these strangers show up and be like, you're coming with us.
Basically, we are kidnapping you. As the movie progresses, obviously, there's so much to this movie. And a big part of that, I think, is the fact that it captures how Bilbo develops. He goes from this terrified little creature who has to suddenly use his wits, basically, to become brave and powerful and all these other things. Despite the fact that, again, he was yoinked out of his house.
Yeah, I think that is a special thing about the reluctant chosen one trope is like the growth. Like every good main character goes through like growth and stuff, but I think it is really drastic with like a reluctant chosen one when they go from like a weak kind of scared person and they get thrown into this adventure and or whatever it is and have to like grow a lot.
I know you love Lord of the Rings and that has its own little chosen one with Frodo and the ring and da-da-da, but you know, is there something you said like in this series about kind of almost destiny choosing the character?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's definitely like a line of fate that's kind of pulled through the whole story.
I wonder if that's also part of what makes the chosen one as powerful. Maybe it's the fact that we all kind of understand that we're going to have things thrown at us that we have to deal with whether or not we want to. And maybe that's part of why this trope speaks to us. Sometimes you don't choose the battle chooses you, and you just have to roll with that punch as best you can. What comes out of the whole boom, he's chosen and we're upending your life F you if you don't like it. Not only is this kind of the classic, chosen one trope in that sense, but it's also the classic fantasy trope. And I kind of want to flip the script and talk about a childhood favorite of mine, which is Terminator. I still cannot believe you haven't seen this series before.
You can now access the CPU. Do you see it?
Yes.
Hold the CPU by its base tab. Pull.
See the pin switch? No! My way, John. Don't kill him.
It, John. Not him. It.
Okay, it. But we need it.
Listen to me. Listen. We are better off on our own.
But he's the only proof we have of the future and the war and all that.
Maybe. I don't trust it.
But he's my friend, all right?
You don't know what it's like to try to kill one of these things. And if something goes wrong, this could be our last chance, so look!
Look, Mom, if I'm ever supposed to be this great military leader, maybe you should start listening to my leadership ideas once in a while. Because if my own mother won't, how do you expect anyone else to?
So John has grown up knowing he's the chosen one, being told by his mother over and over again, he is the chosen one.
So yeah, she's been telling him that, but this was the first time she really had to trust him. I do love the battle in her mind there.
I think there's definitely a lot going on there where she's battling to some extent, because a lot of this movie is her coming to terms with her maternal instincts and not just treating him like a general, but also as her son.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a little bit of that in this moment, right? Where she's struggling to protect her son. She's also scared of this thing because, again, she has in her mind battled this exact same thing before.
Yeah.
There is still some of that I care about you, I want to protect you in her in every gesture she makes. And I think that she's fighting against that. Well, like you said, listening to her son's reasoning, and he might be a teenager, but she's been raising him not like a whole lot of teenagers. He ain't playing video games.
I find that actually super fascinating because I'm writing kind of a similar little struggle with like Kiara and her mom, and having to see her as grown up. She's missed 4 years of her life, and she wants to treat her like the same little girl she always knew, but Kiara has a bigger purpose on her life, and she's got to kind of let her go.
I think this also speaks to, in my opinion, the chosen one, not just their psychology, because any good trope, if utilized well, it's going to bleed into other aspects of the story, right?
Right, yeah, the side characters, and yeah.
Just so much, I think it's the subtext. I think that's why I love this scene so much, and that's why I was so like, no, we're using this one, you have to see this scene, it's so good, is because there's just so many layers of subtext in this particular scene talking about what they mean to each other. Do they mean mother and son, or do they mean something else entirely?
Yeah, and I live for the subtext, man.
I know. So this one's talking about someone who knows they've been chosen since basically birth. This next one kind of falls in the middle, though, and this is one you chose despite me. I hate this movie so much, but you have a point. With Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith,
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! Don't try it! You were the chosen one! It You said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
Hey y'all, just a 5-second intermission to remind you that these videos are sponsored by me and my Vampire Buddy Cop mystery series. So if you enjoy all these different interviews and finding new authors you've probably never heard of, please make sure you're not only hitting the subscribe and the like button, but going over to ehdrake.com to check out free chapters and audiobook samples of my Vampire Buddy Cop mystery series. This is what keeps the channel going and helps me find you all these new interviews. Now back to the episode. I can't help it. It's so melodramatic. It's the most overt movie ever. Everything is spelled out inherently. But this is interesting.
It's true.
Because while we were watching that, I did notice something where every single clip we've picked, it's the chosen one and their mentor, right?
Yeah.
Gandalf and Frodo, Sarah and John. Now we've got Obi-Wan and Anakin. And I don't like how spelled out everything is, but I think there's still some very good plot points to recognize here, especially because this is also a very rare case of a fallen chosen one.
Or like
you picked it,
I guess, because eventually he does still bring balance. But like,
ooh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but in this film, in this context, right?
Yes.
You know, he starts off as this sad little kid on this nasty little desert planet.
Oh my, this here Anakin guy. Maybe Vader someday later, now he's just a small fry.
So to him, he was not raised knowing he was meant for greater things all along. He thought he was meant for slavery all along. Then he was told, hey, I'm meant for greater things. He was spoon-fed this idea, which I could see that giving you a serious sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
And I think we see that in his character. As much as I don't like these movies, I will give that to them, that entitlement does feel valid based on how he's been raised after leaving that crappy little planet.
And he kind of like has to wait for that fulfillment. Like he's told it very young at a very impressionable age. And then it's like, but wait, you're not actually going to do anything for a while. Also, an aspect of Anakin's corruption is possibly the age that he was taken at. He was taught empathy, and he had a lot that he went through as a child, and then taken into the Jedi Order, who told them to kind of stuff emotions in a way.
Yeah, that's
They
a good
kind
point.
of like, they kind of bottle things up, and I think that really damaged him.
Neither's necessarily wrong. There's a beautiful value in stoicism, but it does have to be balanced. And if you are taught that right after you were taught, no, be emotional, it's okay, those two conflict with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
So I could definitely see what you're saying there, where it's like, maybe you could have gradually worked him up to that.
Yeah.
Little bits. But yeah, no, his chosen one status does bleed into other things. It bleeds into how he treats his wife. It bleeds into the fact that, you know, again, I don't like the overt, you were my brother, blah, blah. I don't like that. It makes me laugh. It just does. But at the same time, it's honest. It's honest to the fact that you've raised this person to be by your side and be your companion, your student, only to them be basically your partner, if you will, at your job.
Yeah.
And then they stab you in the back. That would be heart-wrenching, and it would probably be that much harder for Obi-Wan, knowing that, again, he's one of the ones that set him up on this path. And I kind of wonder if that's something we also saw with the Sarah clip, where she's kind of a little bit struggling with herself because she wants to be a mom in one sense, but she knows that she's the one that said that he had to be a general from the get-go. Even if it's true, she's the one that said it.
Yeah, there's like almost like a conflict of interest or something going on with these mentors, because like they, on one hand, they want to be really close to them in a familial sense, and understandably so, but then there needs to be boundaries almost.
With the Gandalf one, it kind of speaks to what you're saying with the boundaries, because he's sitting here like, oh, you're gonna be a burglar, and Bilbo's pushing back, and then Gandalf basically goes, enough is enough, you're doing this.
Yeah.
And becomes this terrifying force of nature. He has that boundary, and I think Bilbo rises to that challenge. And to an extent, I feel like Obi-Wan does not have that boundary. He is too much of a, I want to be your companion, your friend, because he becomes his mentor at such a young age.
Right. Yeah.
And then Sarah, she's just in her own little mixture, because how do you have that boundary with your own kid? But what's kind of the through line you're noticing with this? Like your takeaway?
I think maybe the relatability of like the humanness of all of them, even though they are this kind of miraculous chosen one character, like all of them are very like they're just people at the end of the day, and you put a lot of pressure on them, and some are going to crack, some are going to rise to the challenge.
If you had a brand new writer sitting in front of you, they're ready to write their debut novel, it has a chosen one, and you can only give them one piece of advice, one single thing, what do you think that would be for writing a good chosen one?
Using things that you've struggled with and little weaknesses of your own that you can like kind of put into your character. And when they do rise to the challenge later, it's so empowering to the reader because they saw themselves in the weak spot, and then they can like grow with them as they read.
Maybe it's about making sure your chosen one is still vulnerable.
Takes a level of vulnerability in writing. And
yeah, which can be scary in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
As per usual, where might people find you, your gorgeous books, and your lovely writing?
You can find them at my website, elliemarine.com. You can find them on Amazon, and I have an Instagram that you'll probably link.
And Ellie is right. Everything will be linked down below. If you've made it this far into the video, here is a special thank you in the form of a writing meme. I'm going to start doing this every episode. I actually pull these directly from my Discord, which is also down below. But now I'd like to hear from you. Is there a character that looking back you realize is a chosen one? What's something you love about this trope? And what's something you absolutely detest? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy writing.